Let's take a look at all the manga that I picked up in April of 2023. Alright, it's time to go through my April manga haul. So we're going to look at all the manga, old and new, that I picked up, as well as any light novels, anime, figures, and other stuff like that, art books, things like that. Anything that I picked up in April, we're going to take a look at that. Now, I was really excited because I thought I was finally going to get one of these hauls out in the first week of the month, but then I had an order from Right Stuff that got lost in transit. Luckily, I did have the route insurance on there, and this is not an ad. I'm just trying to point out, like, I've never had a lost order before, but when this happened, the whole thing was resolved within about 30 minutes, and they got a replacement sent out to me, and it just arrived yesterday, so that's why I'm doing this haul video now. But without further ado, we'll go ahead and jump into the actual haul. As always, I break it down first with new releases sorted by publisher, and then I do older releases, and in between I do any like anime and figures that I got. So let's go ahead and jump on in. We're starting off with a bunch of smaller publishers that I only have like 1, 2, or 3 books from. We have from Titan, Atom the Beginning Volume 4. This is a fun kind of like origin story for Astro Boy. Even if you're not a fan of Astro Boy or have never read or watched any Astro Boy, this is still a lot of fun if you're into like robot action. Then we've got Hinamatsuri from One Piece books. They've got a couple new books coming out, and I might be doing a video on one of their new releases. From Glacier Bay, we've got Pandora. I just got this one today. This was part of that haul that I just got, but it is massive. I didn't plan on this, or didn't expect this, I guess, to be as large of trim, but I'm super excited to get into it. Then we've got one of my most anticipated releases for this year is Demons of the Shadow Realm by the creator of Fullmetal Alchemist and Silver Spoon, Hiromu Arakawa. Absolutely love her work, so I've been very much anticipating getting to read this one. And then also from Square Enix, as well as Demons of the Shadow Realm, is Volume 8 of My Dress Up Darling. Then we've got a couple from Denpa. We've got Heavenly Delusion Volume 5. I know a lot of people are now getting into this one because of the anime having come out recently. And they also had an art book that came out, Tape Girl. I believe that's how it's pronounced, Tape Girl, because it's table. I've been collecting everything that comes from Denpa, whether it be art books or manga or anything else. And I have not really been disappointed at all with anything from them. Then we've got 3 from Ablaze. First up is the 5th and final volume of The Breaker. These are 2-in-1 omnibus editions. They are going to do the second series, New Wave, I think, but I have not seen a date announced yet. So that was pretty fun if you're into like martial arts, action, manga and stuff. That was fun. And then we've got first volumes of Fight Class 3 and The Restorer's Home. Honestly, I really wasn't feeling either of these. I was disappointed because I was especially excited about Fight Class 3. It really seemed like it was going to be up my alley, but it just didn't do it for me at all. Like, it's action-packed, like it's a MMA type series, and there's like action on every single page, but somehow it was boring. I don't know how it wound up being boring, but it was. Now, we've got a decent amount from 7C, so let's go through those. First up is Wicked Trapper Volume 2. I took a while to read it, but I finally read the first volume like a week or so ago, and probably 2 or 3 weeks ago, but I really enjoyed it a lot more than I expected to. It is wrapped because it is a little bit spicy, but it was fun. It's like an isekai kind of like rebirth title where the guy was a failed video game designer, and when he is reborn into like kind of like a demon realm type of place, he winds up having to protect the daughter of like a monster king, and he uses his skills as a video game designer to make all these traps, so anyone who comes to try and hurt her or anything like that, they wind up getting caught in his traps. The traps are very creative, and how they work in like conjunction with one another is very creative, but also on top of being creative, it's very violent, and that mixture was very entertaining. It is, like I said, it is a little bit spicy because it's wrapped, or it is wrapped because it's a little spicy. So if you're not into that, just keep that in mind. Sword of the Demon Hunter Volume 2, Ayakashi Triangle Volume 3, Yuna and the Haunted Hot Springs 23. I think the next one either 24 or 25 is the last one, so we're getting close. And then I'm Not Meat Volume 3, which is the last volume of this series. This is a seinen, like office sex comedy type series. It is a little spicy, but I really enjoyed it. It's about a guy who is afraid of women, like specifically when they are like interested in him and come onto him. And so he sees them as like beasts trying to devour him, hence the title I'm Not Meat. It has a pretty good ending too. I really enjoyed it. Here's a really great one from Seven Seas. This month is My Girlfriend's Child. This is heavy, and it just won an award. I think the Kodansha Award. Maybe, but just won an award earlier this week, and it's very well deserved. It is a fantastic series, at least from this first volume. Very dramatic. It is about a young teenage couple, and the girl winds up having a positive pregnancy test, and it's kind of the drama of how they are dealing with this new huge event coming in their life, especially in their young lives. Then we've got Volume 5 of Kimono Jihen, a great kind of shonen action title with yokai and whatnot in it, so if you're in the yokai, that one's really good. Then we've got Malevolent Spirits Mononogatari Volume 2. I'm not sure I'm going to continue. I'm going to do, like, I usually give series 3 volumes. I'm going to give it one more, see how it goes, but thus far I'm not really that pleased with it. Then we've got the 5th omnibus, 2-in-1 omnibus of Tokyo Revengers. This collects 9 and 10. You probably all already know Tokyo Revengers. I don't need to explain it to you, but I've been really loving reading that series. And then the 3rd and penultimate, so the 4th will be the final, hardcover of Girl from the Other Side. This is also sealed because I just got it today. These hardcovers, I'm going to be honest, these are the nicest. These are my favorite design of hardcovers of any manga that I have. Like, I put this above, if I'm being honest, like Dark Horse's releases. The only thing that Dark Horse's hardcover releases have above these Girl from the Other Side is the larger trim size, because they are like really close in price. These are $43 each for these hardcovers, cover price, whereas the Dark Horse ones are $50, and they have about the same amount of content, like 3 volumes each. But I just love like the gold leaf on everything, the embossing, the images used on the front and on the spine. It's just a very beautiful release. All right, so we're done with Seven Seas. Let's move on into Kodansha next. All right, starting off the Kodansha stack, I've got Go-Go Loser Ranger Volume 4. Action is really ramping up in this one. If you're a fan of Sentai stuff like, Power Rangers, any of the Power Rangers or any of the stuff that it was spun out of from the Japanese Sentai series, then definitely check out Go-Go Loser Ranger. It's by the same creator as the Quintessential Quintuplet, so if you've read that, you kind of know what to expect artistically, but this is an action series rather than being a rom-com. Then we've got Shaman King Flowers. I was very excited to get this one, and we finally got the first volume. This is the first Shaman King spin-off or sequel that has been released physically in English, and I'm so excited. This was a great first volume. It just felt so nostalgic, like coming back to this franchise. It just put me right back to my, being a preteen or teenager whenever I first started reading Shaman King. Really fantastic first volume. It's not super deep or anything, but if you enjoy Shaman King, you'll definitely enjoy this one. And volume 2 is already out too. The official date hasn't hit yet, but it is already out on like online retailers such as Right Stuff. Then we get to Eden's Zero volume 22 from Hiro Mashima, creator of Fairy Tail and Rave Master. Then we've got Heroic Legend of Arslan volume 17. This one is the adaptation by Hiromu Arakawa, so we've got a double helping of Arakawa this month. Orient volume 14 from the creator of Maggie. I never know how people pronounce that because I never watched the anime. Magi? Whatever it is. Orient. And we've got Welcome to Demon School Iruma-kun. This one was a really fun first volume. I've never watched the anime, so I didn't know anything to expect, but I'm very much enjoying it so far after one volume. I cannot wait to read more. Then we've got one of my favorite ongoing series right now, Blood on the Tracks, volume 13. This is the beginning of like post-time skip. I've been joking around and calling it Blood on the Tracks Shippuden because it has a time skip in the middle of the series. Apparently 1 through 12, according to Shuzo Oshimi, is prologue, and this is like the real story. And boy, does it begin in a really heavy and dark place. And I've heard it just gets heavier and darker from there. If you're not yet reading the series and you're aware of like kind of the content that's in there, because there's a bunch of pretty heavy content, I really do recommend it, and now is a really great time to get in because you can easily binge through the first 12 volumes, get that prologue material, and then be able to jump into Blood on the Tracks Shippuden. Then we got volume 14 of Don't Toy With Me, Miss Nagatoro. Now moving on to the oversized volumes, we've got Noragami Omnibus Volume 5. This collects 13 through 15 of this. This volume, or this series, will be 9 omnibus long. I've been really enjoying this. If you haven't tried it out and you're a fan of like spirits and stuff and like yokai, etc. Not really, I don't know if yokai would apply here, but in that realm, like spirits and whatnot, this one's really fantastic. It does also have really, really amazing artwork. I honestly get a really heavy like Takeshi Obata feeling when I'm reading it. I think it's really slept on because I didn't really know a ton of people talking about Noragami before I started to read it, and I do have friends that are fans of it and they were really excited when I started reading it, so that's always fun to kind of get into something that your friends are into. Shonen Note Boy Soprano Volume 3, this is the third of 8 about this drama series about a young boy who is going through puberty, which obviously, like, if he's a soprano and his voice is going to change, then that's not going to be great for him. Then we've got Blue Lock Volume 6. I have no idea where the anime left off. Otherwise, I'd sit here and tell you, like, this is right where the anime had left off, so make sure to get... I have no idea. I didn't watch the anime, but I'm really enjoying the manga. I will say that. Then we've got Something's Wrong With Us, Volume 14. Quality Assurance in Another World, Volume 1. This one has an anime coming next year. I really enjoyed this first volume. It's like not... I would not call it an isekai because I know people are hesitant with that stuff. I would not call it an isekai because it does take place like in a video game, but it's not the traditional type of like the isekai that a lot of people don't like is like the reborn as a whatever type stuff. This one is more in line with like dot hack, but it's people in a video game who are debuggers, and the main character, the dude with the red hair, is one of those debuggers that is working to get rid of any issues in the game, and they find some really weird anomalies. And so the girl that he's with on the cover is actually a character, an NPC in the game. The first volume was really interesting. I really enjoyed it. Give it a chance if you want to. Then we've got To Your Eternity Volume 18, fantastic series as always. And Shangri-La Frontier Volume 5. I haven't read this one yet. I was iffy with the first 2 volumes. Volume 3 got better. Volume 4 was fantastic. So now this is like highly anticipated. I can't wait to jump into this Volume 5. That's it for Kodansha. Let's jump into Viz Media has the next pile. All right, so I got a decent pile here of stuff from Viz Media. I'm going to start with the Shonen Jump books. We've got I think this is the second of the light novels for JJK, the Thorny Road at Dawn. Then we've got volume 14 of My Hero Academia Vigilantes. This is the penultimate volume, so 15 will be the last one. So we're getting real close on that. Volume 4 of Mission Yozakura Family. Really been enjoying this series. I haven't read it in a little while because I was reading it weekly on the app. This has been a little while, but I was really enjoying it then. I think it's a little underrated, or I don't want to say underrated, it's underappreciated. I think an anime is coming out, so hopefully that'll spawn some more interest. Undead Unluck, I know an anime is coming out for this one. This is a fantastic series that I absolutely love. The second and final of the Tatsuki Fujimoto Before Chainsaw Man books. This is a group of 4 short stories in this volume. So within the 2 volumes, it's 8 short stories. I personally enjoyed the first volume more than this one. I think there was only I liked everything in the first volume. In this one, I only really cared about 2 out of the 4 short stories. In all, they're all good. It's very much worth it, especially if you're a fan of Fujimoto's work. You'll have a good time kind of reading the stuff that he did before he did Chainsaw Man. I think some of it he also did around the time that he was doing Fire Punch. Anyway, those are good. Would have been cool if it was released in a single, like, oversized volume, but that's neither here nor there. One Punch Man 25, Kubo Won't Let Me Be Invisible, Volume 7. I think like 12 or 13 will be the last one of that. I know it wrapped up recently. My Hero Academia 34, Shoha Shoten Volume 2, Blue Box 4, Elusive Samurai 6. All of those just came in today, so I don't have much to say about them. Love's Insight Volume 1. This was a cute first volume for this shonen rom-com series about a delinquent boy who winds up falling for this girl who has very, impaired sight, very impaired vision. I really enjoyed this first volume. It's very cute if you're a fan of those rom-coms that have like the shorter chapters, kind of, I'd put it in line with stuff like Komi or Kubo. If you like those, you might want to try this one out. And it's only like 8 volumes, I think. It's 8 or 10, I don't remember exactly. So it's not that long. It's not a huge commitment. Pokemon Adventures X and Y Volume 5. There should be 7 of these in total. And with that, they should, in next month's Viz announcements, they should announce the next part of Pokemon. I'm not saying they will, I'm saying that they should, because the end of the X and Y stuff is coming soon. Helk Volume 3. This one's been a lot of fun if you're a fan of like fantasy stuff. I'd recommend it. Mao from Rumiko Takahashi Volume 11, also a great series. Fly Me to the Moon or Tonikawa Volume 17. And then we get into the Shoujo Beat stuff. Those were the Shonen Sunday. Shoujo Beat, we've got new volumes of Natsume's Book of Friends. This is 28. Skip Beat Volume 48. And Queen's Quality Volume 17. I know that now with the new Viz Media app that they've added like Shogakukan titles onto the app. It's not a new app. The app has existed for years, but they added Shogakukan stuff, which means they got a lot of things such as all these Shonen Sunday titles are going to be on there now. So you can try some of these out if you haven't. Detective Conan or Case Closed is on there now. So you can, if you've been curious about that but didn't want to commit to an 80+ volume series, then you can do that as well. And they're going to be backfilling chapters, so there are little less than 200 missing chapters of Case Closed on the app right now, but they'll be catching up, but they are doing simulpub of the new chapters. And then also I wanted to point out Queen's Quality Shoujo Action Series. That's a recommendation. They're going to do simulpub for this one as well as King's Beast. I don't know if they're doing simulpub for any other Shoujo Beat titles, but if you have any curiosity to read any Shoujo manga, you can check those out. If you want something that's not romance, because there's a ton of other genres inside of Shoujo aside from just romance, but if you want an action, Queen's Quality is there. And a personal heavy recommendation from me would be to check out Basara by Yumi Tamura. Basara is also on the app. The entire series is there. You can check that one out. That is one that people have wanted to see reprinted for years because it only got one printing back in like the early mid-2000s, and it never got reprinted since. And like at least a third of the volumes are crazy hard to find for good prices. So if you get a lot of people reading it on the app, that will show Viz, because it has happened before, it will show Viz that there is interest in that and they will wind up doing a reprint. Anyway, Viz signature titles, there's a lot of those that are on the app now as well. Boys Abyss, well, there were already some signature titles, now there's more. Boys Abyss Volume 1 came out. I know that was highly anticipated. That was a great first volume if you're looking for some very, very heavy drama. Check it out. Record of Ragnarok Volume 6, I think is what we're on. Yes. So if you've watched the anime on Netflix, this is material that was in the anime. But of course the animation in that anime is not great, so if you want to check out the original source material, you've got it here, and it's fantastic, a ton of fun. If you want some dumb fun action. Then we've got Inio Asano's recent series, Dead Dead Demons DDD Destruction. This wrapped up with Volume 12. I love this series. It is so great. It's such a fantastically dramatic and just there's not enough adjectives, I'm running out of them, but it's just a great look at the drama that happens with real people during an alien invasion, and then it gets into some sci-fi stuff. Of course, it's an alien invasion, and the ending is just crazy. I loved it. Great series. If you are a fan of Inio Asano at all, definitely pick it up. If you've never read any of Asano's works, this is a good one to start off with. I think it's a pretty decent one to kind of get acquainted with him with. And then we've got Ultraman Volume 18, another great action series, never a disappointment to read this one. And then ending Viz with two big ol' art books. We got the Haikyuu and Demon Slayer art books. If you're a fan of either of these series, these are fantastic art books. I highly recommend them. Yes, the Haikyuu has a $50 cover price, but yes, it also is incredibly well put together and beautiful, and in my opinion, is well worth that cover price or the discounted price that you can find it at from online sellers. The Demon Slayer one is half of that. It's $25, so if you want a nice art book that's not quite as expensive, this one's definitely going to do it. But it is also half the size. It's like half the amount of pages. So that wraps up Viz, and now we get into the last stack of new releases, and that's going to be Yen Press. But first, before we move into that last stack of new releases, a word from our sponsors at Walt's Comic Shop. For us Americans, shopping for manga, we have tons of choices, especially when it comes to all the English language manga stuff that we pick up, like everything I've been showing in this video. We've got all kinds of great choices: Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, Amazon. Of course, I do a lot of my shopping at Right Stuff because they have, you know, great prices, great selection, you know, good packaging, and free shipping after, you know, spending a certain amount. So many positives, but for people outside of the US that want to shop for English language manga, they have a lot less options. And recently, one of the more prominent options, one of the options that people used a lot, was shut down. Book Depository recently has gone under, and so a lot of people are left without a means, without knowing where they're going to continue to shop. Are they going to have to, you know, spend a lot of money on customs and import fees and shipping and all that stuff? Well, no, there is another option now, and that is Walt's Comic Shop. Walt's Comic Shop is a comic shop whose brick and mortar is located in Berlin, Germany, but they do ship all around the EU. So any of you in the EU who have been worried about, you know, where you're going to shop for manga now because of the fact that, you know, you don't have Book Depository, Walt's is a fantastic option. You can check out the website and look at all the manga that they have on sale, as well as Western comics. If you have any interest in stuff from Marvel, DC, Image, etc., those are also for sale at the website or at the brick and mortar if you want to pop your head in and say hi. Walt's offers not just a huge selection of comics and manga that you can purchase, but also they've got fantastic customer service. They know what they're doing over there. Order with confidence is what I'm saying, basically. Now, if you order from Walt's Comic Shop, your first order, if you're within the EU, spend over €40 and you can use code The Omnibus Collector for free shipping. Thank you once again to Walt's Comic Shop for continuing to support my channel. Now let's get back into the haul and check out everything I grabbed from Yen Press. All right, now we've got a couple of nice stacks of books from Yen Press. If you've been watching my channel recently, you know that I do get volume 1s are sent to me by Yen Press every month, so all their new titles that are coming out, they send me early review copies so I can take a look at them and then talk about them in my monthly buyer's guide videos, kind of give you guys some thoughts so you know whether or not you want to pick them up. And so a lot of these, because both the books from April and March, the March ones came in late, I think because they were busy with con season and stuff, or the beginning of con season. So the March stuff came in late, it came in April, and the April stuff also was in April. So I've got 2 months worth of their new releases, plus some stuff that I picked up myself. And let's go ahead and start off with the stuff that I picked up. First up, we've got Miruko-chan Volume 7, fantastic horror comedy series. If you're into horror at all, I highly recommend it. It's about a young girl who can see spirits, but basically she just doesn't want them to know that she's there or that she can see them, so she ignores them, and that's the best way for them to not mess with her. It does develop a deeper plot as it goes forward, but that's just a basic idea of what it is. Kowloon Generic Romance Volume 3. This is such a fantastic series. It is I don't want to spoil anything, but it is a mystery drama type series. It is not a generic romance, as the title might suggest. I really love it. It has amazing artwork, just intriguing story. I love every volume when I get it. Then we've got the 4th volume of Run on Your New Legs. Volume 5 will be the final volume of this short, sports drama series. This is about a young man who plays soccer, who has an accident where he has to get a leg amputated, and kind of how he learns how he can continue to play competitive sports. Mainly he starts running competitive track and field stuff by getting a new prosthetic leg that is designed as such, one of those the blades that is designed for running. Really great, really heartfelt series. Then we've got Doomsday with My Dog Volume 2. This is a 4-coma series about a young woman and her dog and their adventures in the post-apocalyptic world, post-apocalyptic Japan. There's like them interacting with different animals and some like aliens and like robots and stuff like that in there. Then we got the second volume of The Boxer. This is fantastic. This is from Eyes Press. This manhwa, if you haven't read it, is an action-packed boxing manga that I enjoyed the first volume, loved the second volume, cannot wait for the third volume. And here's another one of my favorites, Tales of the Kingdom. This is one of the most beautifully illustrated series that's coming out, in my opinion, right now. And it is presented in such a fantastic format. These hardcovers are great. I absolutely love this series. If you're at all into like fantasy manga, I highly recommend checking it out. Now let's get into all the stuff that Yen Press sent me. I don't have these separated into which were from which month, so let's just go ahead and jump on in. First up, we've got Quella Magi Suzune Magica. This is the latest omnibus edition of the Quella Magi line. They've got like, this is the 4th or 5th of these omnis that's been put out. And they've got another one coming out later that they've announced. So if you've never read these manga before, if you're a fan of the anime like I am, and I've never read the manga before, these omnis are a great way to start checking out the expanded universe. Magical Girl Incident. This one was a fantastic first volume about a guy who gets turned into a magical girl. The Witch in the Night Will Survive. I've talked at length about how much I love this series, so if you haven't checked it out yet, I highly recommend it if you like action fantasy. Then we've got K-On! Shuffle Volume 1. This is a new K-On! Series that has a new group of 4 girls starting their own band who is inspired by the original group of girls. Then we have some stuff from some manhwa, What's Wrong with Secretary Kim. You may have seen I think there's a K-drama of this one, so you might be familiar with this kind of rom-com about a secretary who is trying to quit her job and her boss who doesn't want her to leave for reasons that may include he might be in love with her. But anyway, next we've got The Horizon Volume 1. This is by the creator of The Boxer, and it is incredible. They sent me this one actually a couple months early. I think they sent it to me in March, and it doesn't come out until June, but I forgot I got it, and I just read it last week, and it is bleak and fantastic. I highly recommend this series. It's like, I guess it's in a post-apocalyptic world where war has ravaged the country, and there are survivors that are trying to escape from certain things, and this follows a couple of kids who are just kind of traversing across the country trying to make it any way that they can. It's dramatic, it's heavy. I cannot wait to read more. Then we've got A Business Proposal Volume 1, another manhwa rom-com series. I only read the first chapter of that one, so I don't have a great impression of it, but I think it's only 6 volumes. Then if you watched my stuff on other platforms, I already made a couple videos and posts and jokes about this, but within this, the stuff they sent me for March's new releases, they accidentally, it wasn't Yen, it's the people that work at how is it pronounced? Hachette distribution. They, for some reason, slipped in a copy of Joel Osteen's book in Spanish, El Poder del Yo Soy, which I'm from Houston. I live in Houston, so I'm very familiar with Joel Osteen, and I thought it was very funny that I got that in my box from Yen Press. Now we've got the next stack, because there's still a lot to go. Me and my Beast Boss Volume 1. This one's a cute romantic office comedy Reborn as a vending machine. This one had, I think, an anime just recently started or is starting up. This one's hilarious. Yokohama Station SF. This one's a manga adaptation of a novel. And we've got What the World is Made of. This one's about a couple guys that get to go on jobs where they have to kill monsters to make money. Very quick and action-packed series. The creator of that one did a Monster Hunter manga, so that gives you any idea of what to expect. Then we've got Is It Wrong to Pick Up Girls in the Dungeon? One of the spin-offs. I've never read anything of this franchise, so I can't really say anything about this volume, but this is Familia Chronicle Episode Freya Volume 1, so that one came out recently. Manner of Death Volume 1, this one is interesting. It is about a coroner who a body comes in and it says that she hung herself, but in looking at the body, performing the autopsy, he realizes that that was a lie and that someone's trying to cover something up. And then someone comes in and tries to pay him off to go along with the lie, and then it just there's a series of events that spins out of that. My Dear Curse Casting Vampiress, this one I can't really recommend. I did not really enjoy. The second chapter was a lot of cool vampire action, but then it gets into some weird stuff with I don't know. The third and fourth chapters lost me. Elden Ring, this is a comedic adaptation of the game with fantastic artwork. So if you are a fan of Elden Ring, that one you might enjoy checking out. Sugar Apple Fairy Tale Volume 1. This is the seinen adaptation of the light novel that the anime is based off of. I mentioned that this one is a seinen adaptation because there's also a shoujo adaptation that we don't yet have in English. I think the shoujo manga adaptation is only 2 volumes. Called The Name of the Night. This one has absolutely stunning artwork. I need to finish this first volume, though I only read the first half of it, but it has absolutely stunning artwork. And then we've got The Other Worlder Exploring the Dungeon. This one, I've only read the first chapter of, and I remember enjoying it more than I thought I was going to, but I haven't had a chance to finish off that first volume. Then we have The Villainess Stands the Heroes and Sunbeams in the Sky. This one I think is only 3 or 4 volumes. It is I think a shonen rom-com. It is a rom-com. I'm just trying to think about what the demo is. But the first volume was really cute. I recommend it if you like romantic comedy stuff. And I think it's only 3 or 4 volumes. And then the big one that they sent me, I'm so excited they sent me this, is the Toilet Bound Hanako-kun box set. I already did a video about the box set, so if you want to see any particular stuff about it, go ahead and check out that video from a couple weeks ago or so. But that does include the first 10 volumes of Toilet Bound Hanako-kun. So that's it for all the new releases. Now, I didn't get any anime this month. I didn't get any anime, but I did get one Blu-ray, and that was Primal Season 2. I don't think I've talked about it on this channel, but I have a collection, almost a full collection of all physical media releases of Adult Swim shows. So getting the recent releases like Primal, of course. If you haven't checked it out, if you're a fan of Samurai Jack, this comes from Genndy Tartakovsky, and I really recommend it. It's mostly silent. There's not a lot of dialogue in it, but it is some of the most, the first episode, gut-wrenching. I highly recommend checking it out. The second season wraps up the story of these 2 characters, and then the upcoming third season is going to feature, it's going to be an anthology type thing. So that's the only Blu-ray that I got, and I only got one figure that I can think of for the entire month of April, and I did a video on that one, and that was the Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. So I did a video on that one a week or 2 ago. Check that one out if you haven't yet, and if you're curious about seeing the Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. But otherwise, let's go ahead and take a look at the few older manga that I grabbed. I didn't get that many, but I did get a few that I can show off. All right, so I'll start off with a couple of novels. I got from Dark Horse, the second and third Vampire Hunter D omnibus editions because I found them for super cheap. I don't have the first one, so I'm going to have to get that soon. And I think the fourth one is coming out around the corner. So I've never read Vampire Hunter D, but I have watched the movie and I enjoyed that. So we'll go ahead and check these out at some point in the near future. But I'm glad to have those, glad I could find them them for really cheap. And then I got a 2-volume series, an old vertical series that I didn't know existed, but I was looking through a bunch of old, or a bunch of like Young Animal manga, the magazine that Berserk is published in. Trying to see anything else that is that was from that magazine that's been published in English, and this one popped up, Sickness Unto Death. It's just a 2-volume series. I haven't gotten a chance to read this one yet, but it does sound really good. That's why when I saw the description of it and I saw that it was pretty cheap on like eBay, I went ahead and grabbed those. And then of course, like many people last month, I did pick up Skip and Loafer. I did not pick this up because I didn't start watching the anime, but I know a lot of people who did, and I've been watching the series on Right Stuff, like wanting to add it into my cart, and I started seeing 1-by-1 volumes going out of stock. And I know they're not going to leave it out, like 7 Seas is going to get it printed as quickly as they can, but with 7 Seas, you never know how long that's going to be. And so I was like, you know what, I need to get into it now, or else I'm going to find myself like unable to get some volumes for a while. So we've got volumes 1 through 6 here, and of course 7 just came out, and I do have that one as well. It came in a haul that came in today, not the delayed one, but a new one from this month. So I'll show 7 in my May haul in June, the video that comes out in June. So that is it for my April manga and whatnot haul. I hope that you all enjoyed taking a look at the stuff that I grabbed throughout the month of April. And if you're new here, thank you so much for checking my channel out. I hope you'll consider hitting that subscribe button so you can be notified of all the upcoming content that I put out. And of course, thank you everyone for spending time with me. I always appreciate it. You're all fantastic. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you all on the next one. Peace out.